What if I told you your second brain was worthless? Shocking, I know. As the scholar I'm sure you are, you either already have a personal knowledge management system or you're endeavoring to build one. Perhaps an obsidian vault with a graph so large it has become self-aware. Or mayhaps a Notion template so perfectly put together that the angels themselves sang out. Or perhaps a Zettelkasten, so deeply interlinked you can follow the backlinks to the beginning of the universe itself. But all these things have one fatal flaw. I am not one to destroy without rebuilding. But we have to understand why these personal knowledge management systems, these second brains, are not the panacea that productivity gurus have sold us. We must understand their flaws so we can come out the other side and manage our knowledge with purpose. From the very invention of personal knowledge management systems, otherwise known as writing, Plato, or more accurately Socrates perhaps, lamented their effects in their Phaedrus dialogue as follows. For this invention will produce forgetfulness in the minds of those who learn to use it, because they will not practice their memory. Their trust in writing produced by external characters which are not a part of themselves will discourage the use of their own memory within them. You have invented an elixir not of memory, but of reminding, and you offer your pupils the appearance of wisdom, not true wisdom. For they will read many things without instruction, and will therefore seem to know many things. Knowledge and wisdom, we seem to be towing a very thin line. What is the difference? Knowledge is the repetition of the facts and figures of those that have come before you. Wisdom is the living and lived experience of the lessons you have collected and understood and integrated into yourself. Without wisdom, you are always reliant on consuming the recorded wisdom of others as knowledge. Wisdom is what allows you to produce knowledge for yourself. If writing and reading produce knowledge, does that make them worthless? By no means! Knowledge can be very useful. The knowledge that entering a particular cave will result in being mauled by a bear, very useful knowledge to have. I do not think that you need the lived experience to recognize avoiding that cave would be a great idea. Knowledge simply needs a purpose. If you entered someone's home and it was overflowing from every crevice with useless objects, held onto simply because they might be useful someday, you would consider that person a hoarder. It should be no different with the knowledge you collect. To self-diagnose whether you are serving your notes or your notes are serving you, ask yourself one simple question. What is the last thing you produced using the notes you have created? Now look, I myself have fallen victim to the self-gratification of personal knowledge management. I used to collect all sorts of notes on random thoughts I had. I was overflowing with them, and they never turned into anything. I deleted all of them. And I started recording the things I cared about. I started recording my theories on a well-lived life. The very scripts for this YouTube channel are produced from my notes about a well-lived life, and I am overflowing with content of script ideas for this channel. Knowledge is helpful, but only when it's serving a cause. To revisit the art of Zettelkasten for a moment, we can look at its historical prodigy, Niklas Luhmann. Niklas was a massively productive social scientist. He produced over 50 books and 600 written articles. Proponents of Zettelkasten look at him and say that the key to achieving and producing things like Niklas is to follow his personal knowledge management philosophy. However, this is not so. They have incorrectly tied his success to his particular note-taking system. This is the opposite of how it should be. Niklas didn't find his purpose because he collected a bunch of notes. He collected a bunch of notes because he had awesome things he was trying to do. He was passionate about his field of study. He consumed massive amounts of information, and the note-taking system was produced as a byproduct of it. His passion did not come from the notes. The notes are simply a byproduct of the passion. You will not wake up one day and have suddenly published 50 books simply because you put every interesting quote you found into a journal. However, you may wake up one day and find you have a wealth of notes you have collected while diving deeply into a topic you passionately care about. Remember, knowledge is a helpful guide, but do not put it ahead of purposefully getting things done. Get your hands dirty. Live the experience and collect that wisdom. And don't worry, the notes will come. Before you click away, pause for a moment and consider, what is one project you're passionate about getting done? And what are the steps you need to take today to start moving closer to it being a reality? I know you're going to do great, and I look forward to hearing about the awesome things you achieve soon. Have a good one.